Streaming live on News8000.com. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. Hard to believe that December is like literally just a couple days away.
I know, it's insane, really. And, you know, our temperatures really feel
they
like
are reflecting that.
Yeah, you know, it honestly feels like it's kind of like late December, January out there right now.
It's really cold, isn't it?
That's how cold it is right now. You know, it's currently into the single digits and teens. Right now in Eau Claire, we're at 4, and La Crosse is at 11, Winona's at 9, Black River Falls at 5 below right now, Sparta's at 3. Look at those wind chill values, feeling like 5 below in areas like Eau Claire, Black River Falls, 1 below currently in Sparta for the wind chill, and it currently feels like it's at 0 from Winona southeast into Viroqua. So that's what we're dealing with here. So bundle up out there for you and your furry friends as you get ready to head off towards those morning walks. We will be looking at some cloudy weather, though, moving in this afternoon and also as we head into this evening. Now, skies are looking mostly clear here for now, but we are expecting, again, those cloudy weather conditions to start moving in as we head into the late morning and also continuing on into the afternoon, evening hours, with afternoon temperatures expected to only reach the mid to upper 20s here yet again today. But at least it won't be as chilly. Unlike yesterday, it was very chilly out there. We start to see some improvements to that. More details are coming up in the full weather forecast. I'll explain further. Back to you, Alexandra.
Thank you, Derek. Time now for some morning news. Beginning with breaking news, rescuers in India are making the final preparations to bring out the workers who have been trapped for 17 days inside of a collapsed tunnel. New video released within the past 90 minutes shows ambulances and personnel backing into the entrance of that collapsed tunnel. Earlier, an official told Reuters that rescuers have drilled through the debris and have reached the 41 trapped workers. Those workers have been trapped in 3 miles from the tunnel entrance since November 12th. We will bring you updates on this breaking story as we receive them. And in Wisconsin, a man accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend 2 years ago was arrested on Thanksgiving in Missouri. An arrest warrant was issued in December 2021 for Jose Dominguez Garcia for the 2020 murder of the pregnant woman. According to the complaint, the couple broke up in July 2020 after she told Dominguez Garcia she was seeing someone else, the father of her unborn baby. She went missing just 2 weeks later. Dominguez Garcia faces charges including first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree intentional homicide of an unborn child, and hiding a corpse. Today, presidents past and present and multiple first ladies will attend an invitation-only memorial for First Lady Rosalynn Carter in Atlanta. Mrs. Carter died November 19th at the age of 96. CBS News correspondent Dave Malkoff has more on the day's ceremonies.
A tribute service honoring the life of First Lady Rosalynn Carter will take place later today at Emory University in Atlanta. All of the living First Ladies, from Hillary Clinton to Jill Biden, are expected to attend, along with President Biden, Vice President Harris, and former Presidents Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter himself. 3 days of tributes for the former First Lady and daughter of Plains, Georgia began yesterday, with past and present members of the Carter's Secret Service detail carrying her casket from a medical center in Americus to her alma mater, Georgia Southwestern State University, where they left wreaths at the Rosalynn Carter Health and Human Sciences Complex. Her casket was then brought to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta to lie in repose.
At a ceremony yesterday, mourners remembered her as a people person who was genuine and kind.
She treated everyone with respect and dignity. She was unpretentious, never seeking recognition for herself.
Crowds of mourners came to pay their respects.
I want to be part of a historic moment. I mean, not everybody can, pay their respects to the First Lady of the United States.
A private funeral will be held tomorrow at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia, where the Carters have been active members for decades.
The Carters celebrated their 77th wedding anniversary this summer. First Lady Rosalynn Carter will be buried at the family's residence following the private funeral service. La Crosse School District residents are voicing their concerns regarding the potential closure of Northwoods and Hinton elementary schools. During a virtual hearing, the first speaker asked the school board not to close Hinton, highlighting the school's dedicated principal and staff, as well as an attendance rate higher than the state average. She challenged the explanation that closing Hinton would improve socioeconomic balance across the district.
As an example of pretending to support a vulnerable population while actually causing disruption to that population so as to avoid inconveniencing the families of higher socioeconomic status.
The second speaker criticized the idea of closing Northwoods. She says she worked for the district for 5 years and is a registered facility manager with the Department of Public Instruction. She says Emerson should close.
Northwoods offers the longest future lifespan. Other buildings should be replaced in 1 to 20 years. Emerson is one of those buildings, possibly the building that should be closed in 1 year. I find it hard to imagine that we would close Northwoods, the second newest building on our district with the largest green space, to rebuild at Emerson, the district's second smallest site.
An in-person public hearing is scheduled for 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesday at Hogan. A reminder that the school board does not have to follow the Facility Advisory Committee's recommendation. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers used an alternate email under the name of a Hall of Fame Milwaukee baseball player. Evers' spokesperson confirming the governor had a taxpayer-funded email account under the name warren.spawn at wisconsin.gov. Wisconsin Right Now first reported Evers used this alias account to discuss public business with top cabinet appointees. The governor's spokesperson defended the email practice, saying the use of alias addresses is common. Did you know that statistics show 60% of all U.S. phone calls are robocalls or spam? A new Wisconsin bill aims to change that. The bipartisan proposal would create fines for robocalls using false caller IDs to commit fraud. Those fines would range from $100 to $10,000. One of the bill's authors says the legislation particularly aims to protect elderly residents, a demographic disproportionately targeted by phone scammers. Happening today, UWL will host a senior speed dating event from 1 to 2:15 this afternoon. It'll take place in room 3110 in the Student Union. Organizers say the event will allow older adults to make new friends or even find a like-minded soulmate. Participants can register for the event by contacting Alicia Town through either her email or phone number that you see right here on your screen. Participants are also asked to arrive between 12:30 and 1 this afternoon to check in. Trudy Swenson is this month's hometown hero, a woman said to truly be doing God's work by her colleagues at Farmington Emergency Medical Team. For more than 37 years, Swenson has volunteered as an EMT in Farmington. She rarely misses a call and is extremely dedicated to her life-saving work. But what really sets her apart is her special connection to the community. News 8's Emily Brown has her story.
When you've been in the game as long as Trudy has, people are going to know you by name.
She arrives on scene. Oh, Trudy, oh, Trudy. It's really nice to see.
Trudy has volunteered as an EMT with the Farmington Emergency Medical Team for 37 years. She started this journey when she realized her small community had limited access to care.
We live in a very rural area, and I've always wanted to help get first aid and medical care to people as quick as possible because the hospitals are so far away.
And how things have evolved since her first day.
37 years ago, we just had a small first aid kit, one oxygen tank, one radio, and we didn't even have pagers back then.
Now Trudy has one and
full medical kit, a defibrillator, and an oxygen tank in the trunk of my car.
So when Trudy's calling calls, she's ready, even at the most inconvenient times.
My pager's gone off and I've had to leave in the middle of holiday dinner.
She responds to just about every call that comes into Farmington.
And for Trudy, most of those calls are personal. After years of care, she's formed deep bonds with her patients and their families.
My son suffered a cardiac arrest, and she was one of the first ones there. I get emotional.
Her relationships are without a doubt the most rewarding part of her job.
It's knowing your patients and their families, and knowing that someone is coming to help them, that they know and that they can trust.
But it can also be the toughest.
You feel like you don't get there quick enough and you don't do enough. The outcome isn't always the best.
But just like her passion for people, her resilience is unwavering, and she has no plans of stopping anytime soon.
No, not even close. No, I love what I do. I love helping people, and if I can make a difference in my community, that's my goal.
For News 8 Now, I'm Emily Brown.
Trudy also received the First Responder of the Year award for the 94th Wisconsin Assembly District. Still ahead on your morning news, if you have a Google account you haven't checked in a while, you may want to log in. This week, we will tell you why just ahead. And the Better Business Bureau is warning online shopping scams may not be as easily spotted as in previous years. After the break, we'll have a few tips on how to spot those tricky holiday scammers. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. If you're looking for a breakfast idea, today is National French Toast Day. The sweet morning treat is a staple for Americans, and despite its name, the dish originated in ancient Rome. Historians think the term French is an old Irish verb that means to slice. In French, the sweet snack is known as pain perdu, which means lost bread. The dish has gone on to international acclaim and is made by cultures around the world. Here in the U.S., it's especially popular in New Orleans. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Skies are looking nice and clear here this morning, as you can see right there behind me. Our current temperature readings are into the single digits and teens. 11 degrees now is the temperature in La Crosse, 9 in Winona. Eau Claire, you're currently at 4, and Sparta, Black River Falls at -2 to -6. So that's how cold that we're dealing with here, with wind chill values even feeling colder than that in some spots. It feels like it's 5 below now in Eau Claire. In La Crosse, we're currently at 0 degrees as far as the wind chill goes. But our zone forecast today will be calling for our high temperatures to be pretty similar to yesterday, except the only difference is our wind chills will not be as strong as what they were, cold, I should say, as what they were yesterday. We'll be dealing at 22 today in Viroqua, 27 degrees in New Albin, highs reaching 25 in Blair. We'll be at 25 in Sparta, 27 in Trempealeau, and high of 26 today in Arcadia. And 25 will be our temperature in Eau Claire under mainly cloudy skies. So for your bus stop forecast this morning, make sure to pack the kids some extra layers here, as we'll be at 10, mostly clear skies to start. We'll be looking at highs reaching around 27 around dismissal time with our temperature, with mainly cloudy skies moving in from the west. We'll have details on that coming up in the weather forecast in a few minutes.
In your consumer news this morning, if you have a Google account you haven't used in a while, it may be getting deleted this week. On Friday, Google will start deleting accounts that have been inactive for at least 2 years. That plan was announced in May with the hope of dealing with security issues. According to Google, older accounts are more likely to rely on recycled passwords. That makes them vulnerable to hacking attacks and malware. To save your account, all you need to do is log in at least once every 2 years. If you're worried about spending too much over the holidays, and who isn't, one area you might save some money on is car travel. That's because gas prices are continuing their decline. They have fallen for 60 consecutive days. According to AAA, the average price of gas is at $3.25 per gallon. That's down 27 cents from just last month. Honda is recalling hundreds of thousands of vehicles because of the automaker says the vehicles have problems with their seatbelts. The Japanese company filed the recall with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The recall affects 304,000 Honda Accords and HR-Vs manufactured between October of last year and October of this year. Honda says the defective seatbelts increase the risk of injury in a crash. However, no deaths or injuries have been reported in connection to the faulty parts. Although the deals of Black Friday and Cyber Monday may be over, holiday shopping is still in full swing, and scammers are working hard to try to rip off online shoppers. According to the Better Business Bureau, spotting online scams is not as easy as it was a few years ago. Cole Higgins has 5 tips to help keep you safe from those tricky online scammers.
The holiday shopping season is in full swing, and those websites hosting online sales are also a hotspot for scammers.
Unfortunately, scammers follow us around like legitimate marketers do.
The Better Business Bureau says scammers are working overtime to rip off eager consumers, and it's getting harder and harder for consumers to spot those scams.
If you think about the way people online shop, most of the time they're on a device. They're not on a laptop or a desktop computer where they might have a better visual field of some of those red flags when it comes to a fake website.
The National Retail Federation is forecasting that online and non-store sales will climb as high as 9% this year, and scammers are taking advantage of that growing trend. The BBB has these 5 tips to help you avoid becoming a victim. Number 1, research before clicking buy. Google the company name with the word scam, reviews, and complaints to see what other customers are saying.
Usually starts with I saw an ad for XYZ, and then they have no confirmation of a purchase.
Which brings us to number 2, buy from legit websites. The BBB says scammers often mimic the URL of a popular retailer to get you to buy counterfeit or fake items. 3, don't be fooled by fake goods on social media.
We've also seen some influencers have their videos hijacked by scammers trying to sell the product on a fake website.
4, don't click on links from random texts or emails. And finally, the BBB says if the sale or promotion seems too good to be true, it probably is.
The BBB also recommends users to click on the About Us or Contact Us section on the website. They say one red flag is if the only way to contact the seller is through submitting a form. That does it for your morning consumer news. It is 6:19. Time to check in with Derek for a look at today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Alexandra. We are looking at mainly clear skies to start with here this morning from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse. A very cold start, though, yet again, as temperatures are currently at 11 degrees now at the La Crosse airports, but we're feeling like it's currently 0 when you factor in the 7-mile-per-hour winds coming from the northerly direction. Meanwhile, if you're in Eau Claire, clear skies for you. Temperatures are currently sitting at 4 degrees, but it feels like 5 below thanks to that 5-mile-per-hour winds coming from the west-southwesterly direction towards the north. Temperatures in Black River Falls are much colder, though, at 6 below. It's 2 below currently now in Sparta. It's 9 degrees in Viroqua, and the same can be said towards the west in Winona. As far as your forecast overall today, we will be increasing the cloud cover as we get towards noon, but at least temperatures warming up into the low 20s. 4 o'clock, 26 degrees with cloudy skies, and still relatively mostly cloudy by this evening with temperatures at around 26 degrees. Right now, our current wind chill factors make our temperatures feel like they're below 0 out there in some spots. We will be looking at pretty similar wind chill values, at least into those single digits throughout the morning hours, and then by 5 o'clock, our wind chill values warm up into the mid-teens. Now, there are some warmer changes coming because as we head into tomorrow, we are expecting that our wind chill values will warm up into the 30s and 40s as the southwesterly wind here develops, and that is going to be pretty close to what our actual temperatures will be as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Right now, things are looking nice and clear, and we will continue to remain that way as we head throughout the next couple of hours before we start to see some increasing clouds begin to move in from the west, which is out ahead of this warm front boundary position to our west as well. Now, that warm front is expected to inch closer towards us as we get closer towards the evening hours. Still looking pretty cloudy. That front begins to move through, though, as we head into overnight, and that is going to help warm up our temperatures just in time for the day tomorrow. But before we get there, though, it's going to be a little bit cloudy to start tomorrow morning off, maybe even some patchy areas of some dense fog. Can't be completely ruled out either. And then by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the cloudy weather will clear out and temperatures will begin to warm up out ahead of this next system moving in, which is a cold front. Now, behind this particular cold front, we are expecting temperatures to once again drop as we head towards Thursday and also into Friday. And in fact, you'll see it here on the 8-day forecast. So behind this warm front, highs are going to pick up into the 40s tomorrow and Thursday. And then behind this next cold front moving in, highs drop into the 30s as we head into this weekend and also into early next week. Our lows will be mainly in the 20s. Alexandra?
Thank you, Derek. Still ahead on your morning news. As you just saw in Derek's forecast, the bitter cold is here. But Gunderson Health Systems is warming hearts with its 16th annual blanket drive. Donations are pouring in, but will it be enough to meet the rising need? We'll take a look after
the Whitehall boys basketball team made it to Madison back in March. The Norse were looking to open the season with the win on the road last night in Gilmanton. I'll have those highlights coming up in the Blitz. Welcome to the Blitz. High school hoops are heating up throughout the Cooley region. Many of our area squads have yet to tip off the regular season, Whitehall being one of them. The Norse made it all the way to Madison back in March. They were looking to start this season off last night with a win. Let's go to Buffalo County. State runner-up from last season, Whitehall on the road in Gilmanton, taking on those Indies. The home team hot to start. Xavier Santillan is going to drain the three. Independence Gilmanton strikes first, but the Norse, they answer right back. The senior Braden Lazowski on fire. He knocks down the three. Much more from him in this one. Later in the half, Indy staying in the fight. Brandon Silla gets free, bags home the triple. Senior puts his squad back up 3. Norse moving the ball nicely, though. Check out this pass from Lazowski down low to Mason Plentock. Whitehall within 1. Then more pretty ball movement. Again, it's Plentock putting it in. Then on the break, how about Grant Olson? Ahead of the pack, Norse, they go up 5. Other end, though, look at the effort here from Carlos Flores. The junior can't get it to go the first time, but he stays with it. Nice hustle, goes up strong for the putback. It's back to a 3-point game. But Whitehall whipping that rock around. Preston Schroeder lays it up and in, but the Norse back up 5. Then it's Seth Lambeck driving to the hole, kissing it off the glass for 2. Indy's not backing down, though. Grady Meyer looking for an opening. He's going to find it. Nice footwork from the junior. Cuts the deficit back to 3. But the Norse pulling away, and it's Lazowski pulling from all over the court. He rattles home the corner 3, then knocks down another. Indies put up a fight, but the Norse opened their season with the win on the road, 76-62. To Royal we go. Panthers made it to Madison as well back in March. They were hosting Westby. First half, Norse getting active on the defensive end. Blake Sutton gets the big block there. Then on the other end, it's Caleb Johnson dropping his defender with a nasty step back. He's going to drill it from deep. That ties things up. Panthers would respond, though. The big fella, Tucker Wilds, expands his range outside, knocks down the 3. But the senior was too much for the Norse. This time, Wilds bullies his way to the basket, banks it home for 2 more. Panthers get the win, 59-40. Down the road at Hillsborough High, on the girls' side, the Tigers clashing with Mauston. Pick it up second half. On the first play, Carmen Erickson gets the steal, takes it coast to coast, lays it up and in. Tigers try and fight their way back. Golden Eagles respond, though. Ella Franek drives in the paint, banks home the layup to increase Mauston's lead to 17. Hillsborough tries to come back in this one. Elena Clark fights her way through the contact, gets the lay-in to fall, but off the steal, Caitlin Lavole takes it home, scoops it up and in. Golden Eagles get the win, 51-36. Let's go to Madison. Badgers back home looking for their 4th straight win, taking on Western Illinois. Wisconsin wasting no time. AJ Storr, 7-0 run by the Badgers to start. Then it's the Big Ten Freshman of the Week staying hot. John Blackwell drains the 3. And the Badgers keep it going in the second half. Tyler Wall taking it strong to the hole. He goes off the window for 2. Badgers go up 14, and then more from Wall later on. Pretty baby hook in the lane. All Badgers, they get their 4th straight win, 71-49. Vikings taking on the rival Bears last night at home. Minnesota down by 6 late, but Joshua Dobbs hooks up with TJ Hawkinson in the end zone. 17-yard strike puts the Vikings up 10-9. But how about the Bears? Chicago marches down the field. Cairo Santos plays the hero at US Bank Stadium. They get the win, 12-10, the final. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
Do you give your kids melatonin to help them fall asleep? If you do, you're not alone. New research is showing that almost 1 in 5 children use melatonin to fall asleep. That's according to a study published in JAMA Pediatrics. It also found 6% of kids ages 1 to 4 and 18% of kids ages 5 to 9 are given melatonin by their parents as a sleep aid. The body naturally produces melatonin, but it can also be taken as a supplement, which is sold over the counter. Pediatricians recommend parents discuss their child's sleep issues before starting them on any kind of sleep aid. La Crosse's Common Council is staying in a class action lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. The council went into a closed session for 2 hours yesterday to discuss a settlement offer by 3M and DuPont, two of the largest producers of the forever chemicals. The council voted 11-0 to opt out of the settlement offer, so the city will remain on board with the class action suit that was filed 2 years ago.
3M and DuPont are the ones that have offered settlements, but there's a bunch of other companies that are also being sued. This conversation again will continue.
The council is also using $45,000 from the city's contingency fund to hire outside attorneys. Those attorneys will represent the city against some Town of Campbell residents who recently filed civil lawsuits over PFAS contamination from the city-owned airport. As the holidays quickly approach, it is time to send your letters to Santa. Each year, elves come all the way from the North Pole to La Crosse to collect the letters for Santa. Those letters should be sent to the address on your screen. And this year, letters postmarked by December 10th will be answered by the man in the red suit himself. Just make sure to include your name and address so his elves know where to send his response. Something as simple as a blanket can make a huge difference in people's lives. Gunderson Health System is holding its 16th annual blanket drive. The event asks people to donate new blankets to the hospital. It's sponsored by the Gunderson Department of Nursing and the local nonprofit Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Through December 15th, those organizations will collect the blankets. News 8 Now's Shaquille Davis has the story for us.
Alex, I got a chance to speak to one of the founding mothers of the blanket drive, and she said this idea started from a simple conversation during lunch.
The Gunderson Blanket Drive is a program we started in 2006 to wrap the community in warmth, which was thought of by a small group of nurses to do something give back to the community.
Edie Kubacek is a registered nurse at Gunderson who has worked there for over 30 years. And was actually a part of that small group of nurses. Over the years, they've received many thank you letters and gifts for their good work in the community.
Me and some close nurses sat at a table in our big cafeteria and said, what could we do to give back to the community? Lo and behold, back then, we never thought it would still be going this strong today.
Going strong could be an understatement compared to what the numbers indicate.
On average, we collect anywhere from 400 to 1,500 blankets each year.
After the blankets are collected, they are distributed to the organizations who ask Gunderson for a hand.
We have so much need from organizations that reach out to us. So these blankets go anywhere from 5 to 20 different organizations.
Organizations like the Red Cross, YMCA, Women and Children's Centers, and even to organizations outside of Wisconsin.
I usually take a bunch of blankets even down to the Iowa chapter and they distribute them there as well.
As for the blankets, they are asking for something new, not old.
We do want new blankets of all different shapes and sizes. We do take brand new homemade blankets.
Here she gives an example of what a donated blanket could look like.
This blanket we just received today from somebody named Emily Brown. So it's a great example of the type of blankets we receive, and it's so colorful and it will wrap somebody up and they'll be so appreciative. So if you're out there, Emily, thanks for this great donation.
If you'd like to donate to the Gunderson Blanket Drive and help keep your community warm, head over to our website, news8000.com, for more details. Alex?
Thank you, Shaq, and great job, Emily. It is 6:36, time to check in with Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute. We should expect to turn the heater on, right?
Yeah, and pack a blanket. I gotta say, that blanket looked pretty comfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Emily Brown, for donating. Looking at some very cold conditions, so yes, make sure to use that heat on in your vehicle. Not as chilly by the lunch hour. The cloudy skies also start to form as we progress throughout the day today as well, but at least the conditions will stay dry. But again, just very cold out there. We got current temperatures into the single digits and the teens, and our wind chills not too far from that as well. In fact, it feels like 5 below with the wind chill in Eau Claire right now. Just absolutely absolutely miserable in La Crosse as well, with wind chill values at around 0. Looking at some clear conditions currently all across the Coulee region, but again, the cloudy skies are going to start to develop and spread across the area today. Temperatures still unseasonably cold at 27. Southwest winds will be light at 5 to 10. For tonight, we drop to 22 degrees. Not as cold, partly cloudy skies. Southwest winds light at 5 to 10. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast one more time coming up in a few minutes, and we'll time out the details when we finally could start to see some warming up conditions later on in that 8-day forecast as well. Coming up in our Buzz Report, Eddie Murphy has a new holiday movie coming out this weekend. We'll take a look at Candy Cane Lane in just a few minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, we are looking at a nice clear sky from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse, but very cold though. Temperatures are currently sitting at 10 degrees. North-northwest winds are light at 3 miles an hour. The river stage is currently at 4.76 feet and dropping along the Mississippi. Meanwhile, in Eau Claire, much colder at 4 degrees with clear skies. Our visibility levels here at around 10 miles, but it feels like it's at 5 degrees though with that wind chill effect thanks to that west-southwest wind at around 5 miles an hour. Our current temperature readings are both into the single digits and teens, but really except La Crosse, everybody is into the single digits. It's 7 below though currently in Black River Falls. Now, as we take a look at your planner, we'll be warming up to 21 degrees with some cloudier weather starting to move in by this afternoon, which, by the way, will hang around, it looks like, throughout the day as well. Slightly chilly here to start with this morning, and it looks like those chilly weather conditions with feel like temperatures into the single digits lasting throughout the morning. Now, we will warm up our wind chill values into the mid-teens as we head to around the 5 o'clock hour today as a southerly wind profile begins to take shape. Now, as we head into tonight, our wind chills are still looking pretty close to what it will be here this afternoon, with wind chill readings into the mid to upper teens. But heading into the day tomorrow, we got a southwest wind here developing a little bit, and that's going to help our feel-like temperatures and our temperatures in general start to come together, and therefore it will be much warmer. You can see our wind chill factors into the upper 30s and low 40s as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Things are looking nice and clear here this morning, and we will be increasing the clouds here, like I mentioned, out ahead of this warm front, which is going to start to move in as we head into later in the day. But out ahead of it, you can see how cloudy it's expected to get here, though. And the cloudy weather will persist as we head throughout the day as this warm front begins to inch closer and closer towards us. It should pass through, though, as we head into tonight. And behind it, we are expecting some warmer temperatures to take shape just in time for midweek tomorrow on Wednesday. But we are going to start off with a pretty cloudy start tomorrow with some dense fog possible in some spots as well before all that begins to clear out of here as we head into tomorrow afternoon with clear skies and the forecast there for the rest of the day tomorrow. By Thursday, I am watching our next cold front, however. Now, behind this front, our temperatures are expected to drop here a little bit, and you'll see that on the 8-day forecast. In fact, after we get through these next couple of mild days ahead with highs in the 40s tomorrow and Thursday, and also into Friday here too, our highs will drop into the 30s by this weekend and also into early next week with that cold front that I mentioned coming through later this week. Our low temperatures will be mainly into the 20s.
In our Morning Buzz report, Stephen Colbert is recovering from surgery. The Late Show host canceled this week's shows after suffering a burst appendix. Colbert is thanking his doctors for his care as well as his family for putting up with him. He also joked that all emails to his appendix will now be handled by his pancreas. Are you looking to add something new to your wardrobe? How about something old? Here's something to spice it up. An auction is being held for more than 250 items from the movie The Big Lebowski, including, of course, this famous bathrobe. Other items include the t-shirt worn by Jeff Bridges for the film and a bowling pin signed by the dude himself. The items are expected to sell for $500,000 to $50,000. The auction will take place in Beverly Hills and online December 16th.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
High stakes as neighbors compete for best decorated house on the block.
That was a quick look at Candy Cane Lane, starring Eddie Murphy. The holiday movie tells the story of neighbors who compete to decorate their houses for Christmas. The film is directed by Reginald Hudlin and also stars Jillian Bell and Nick Offerman. Candy Cane Lane will be out exclusively on Prime this weekend.
And so I wake up in the
Dolly Parton's new album is a hit. The 9 to 5 singer's latest effort is #1 on Billboard's top album sales chart. It is the first time Dolly has pulled off that feat in the chart's 32-year history. Of course, she's been making albums for a lot longer than 30 years. Dolly's career has taken on new life in the last few years. In 2022, you may remember she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Dolly Parton, I gotta say, she did a spectacular halftime show for that Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah, she did. Very impressive.
Yeah.
She looks like she has no plans to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, she looks like she's, I mean, she's been doing it for a long time. What I meant to say was that she kind of looks like she's basically what you said, not slowing down.
Yeah. No. And you know what? She shouldn't have to.
No.
Good for her.
She's
well,
awesome.
Yes, before we had to break, we would normally take a look at today's Look Who's 8.
But unfortunately, we just don't have any birthday submissions today. So if you are celebrating a birthday or know somebody that is, happy birthday to them.
Yes, and if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for that Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Welcome back. It's 6:51. Time for your Morning News Now. A Wisconsin man accused of killing his pregnant ex-girlfriend 2 years ago was arrested on Thanksgiving in Missouri. An arrest warrant was issued in December 2021 for Jose Dominguez Garcia for the 2020 murder of the pregnant woman. According to the complaint, the couple broke up in July 2020 after she told Dominguez Garcia she was seeing someone else, the father of her unborn baby. She went missing just over 2 weeks after that. Dominguez Garcia faces charges including first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree intentional homicide of an unborn child, and hiding a corpse. La Crosse's Common Council is staying in a class action lawsuit against PFAS manufacturers. The council went into a closed session for 2 hours to discuss a settlement offer by 3M and DuPont, two of the largest producers of the forever chemicals. The council voted 11-0 to opt out of the settlement offer, so the city will remain on board with the class action lawsuit filed 2 years ago.
3M and DuPont are the ones that have offered settlements, but there's a bunch of other companies that are also being sued. This conversation again will continue.
The council is also using $45,000 from the city's contingency fund to hire outside attorneys. Those attorneys will represent the city against some Town of Campbell residents who recently filed civil lawsuits over PFAS contamination from the city-owned airport. La Crosse School District residents, meanwhile, voicing their concerns regarding the potential closure of Northwoods and Hintgen elementary schools. During the virtual hearing, the first speaker asked the school board not to close Hintgen, highlighting the school's dedicated principal and staff, as well as an attendance rate higher than the state average. She challenged the explanation that closing Hintgen would improve socioeconomic balance across the district.
As an example of pretending to support a vulnerable population while actually causing disruption to that population so as to avoid inconveniencing the families of higher socioeconomic status.
The second speaker criticized the idea of closing Northwoods. She says she worked for the district for 5 years and is a registered facility manager with the Department of Public Instruction. She says Emerson should close.
Northwoods offers the longest future lifespan. Other buildings should be replaced in 1 to 20 years. Emerson is one of those buildings, possibly the building that should be closed in 1 year. I find it hard to imagine that we would close Northwoods, the second newest building on our district with the largest green space, to rebuild at Emerson, the district's second smallest site.
An in-person public hearing is set for 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesday at Hogan. A reminder, by the way, the school board does not have to follow the Facility Advisory Committee's recommendation. Well, as the holidays get closer, it is time to send in your letters to Santa. And elves at the City of La Crosse Parks, Rec, and Forestry Department are here to make sure your letter gets to St. Nick. Every year, elves come all the way from the North Pole to La Crosse to collect those letters. They should be sent to the address you see on your screen. And this year, all letters postmarked by December 10th will be answered by the man in the red suit himself. Just make sure to include your name and address so his elves know where to send his response. Happening today, UWL will host a senior speed dating event from 1 to 2:15 this afternoon. It'll take place in room 3110 of the Student Union. Organizers say the event will allow for older adults to make new friends or even find a like-minded soulmate. Participants can register for the event by contacting Alicia Town through the email or phone number you see on your screen. Participants are asked to arrive between 12:30 and 1 to check in.
And as you head out the door this morning, our temperature is just downright cold yet again. We got the teens here to work with for our temperatures under mostly clear skies, but as you can see in the day planner, we are going to be looking at increasing cloud cover. Skies will turn cloudy as the day goes on today with afternoon highs mainly in the 20s. 8-day forecast here showing that we will be looking at clearer conditions for tomorrow, also much warmer as highs will be into the 40s and again on Thursday, but with some cloudier skies there though. Friday we clear out again, highs still into the low 40s, but then we're dropping our highs into the 30s this weekend and also into early next week as we got another cold front coming in to help cool us down yet again.
Some good news there, Derek. Well, we do have some good news, though. If you thought you have a lot of holiday decorations to put up this year, just wait until you see the White House. This year's theme is Inner Child, and it includes almost 15,000 feet of ribbon. Look how beautiful that is.
That's crazy.
Over 34,000 ornaments for 98 different holiday trees placed around the Executive Mansion, and over 142,000 holiday lights cover all of those trees. Look how big that tree is.
It's gorgeous.
Wow. And for dessert, the White House has a gingerbread creation made of 30 pounds of chocolate and 50 pounds of icing.
How do you do that? I mean, you got to be such a creative person to, you know, sculpt all that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's
I
insane.
know. I'm sure they have, you know, just spotless resumes. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's hard to beat, too. So good luck to all of you out there trying to compete with that.
Yeah, if you are. Hopefully that gives you some inspiration.
Yeah,
It is really beautiful.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for watching News 8 Now this morning. We will see you back here at noon. Have a great day.